Australia has been isolated from the other continents for a very long time, at least 45 million years. The animals and plants have taken their own separate and very different evolutionary journey, and the result today is the world's most distinct and one of the most diverse natural realms. Perhaps the most iconic of all Australian landscapes is the bare and beautiful Outback. This is one of Earth's loneliest expanses, yet offers an incredible variation in landform, from vast red plains to dazzling salt pans, rough-cut canyons and pristine gorges. In order to experience as many outback landscapes as possible, we cycled 3,000 kilometres on the smallest possible roads, from the world's largest coral reef to the world's biggest rock. This is actually a former Race to the Rock course, pieced together by Jesse Carlson and Sarah Hammond, and with their handy logistics sheet, we knew where we could source water, and could calculate how many days of food we would be carrying at any time. As these lands have been home to First Nations people for upwards of 50,000 years, we acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we cycled across, and pay our respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. The mountains in northeast Queensland can receive a mind-boggling 12 metres of annual rainfall. All of this water works its way into the various catchment areas, such as the Dalrymple Dam, which was a wonderful place for us to rest. This is the Burdekin Dam lookout, which we were at last night for the sunset, and we thought it was too beautiful not to have breakfast at. What's on the menu this morning?
Oats with a little bit of granola in them and coffee.
Sounds pretty good. With a view.
View.
Pretty stunning in this part of the world. Loving all of those rocks. After crossing the dam wall, we hit the epic dirt road network that is Outback Queensland. The land is almost entirely allocated to grazing livestock. The rattle of cattle grates is usually the only way we knew we'd crossed into new properties. so big. So beautiful.
The feeling doesn't get old. It's so great.
We love the road trains. Australian road trains are famous around the world, and their sheer size doesn't disappoint either. With 3 or 4 full-size trailers, road trains are up to 55 metres or 180 feet long. The drivers are very courteous to cyclists. They are professional drivers after all, and will always give you a toot if you ask. It's out, Brent! That was so sick! There is no way that that plane didn't know that we were there.
No, had to. That was so cool.
It came right at us.
Yeah, we spent like 30 minutes chasing it today. That was amazing.
The Australian emu is the second tallest bird after the ostrich, and we saw them most days.
They're so cool. We have, I think, like 13 of them. I'm so excited. I can't believe we're getting to see like packs of emus so early in our trip.
Unlike the majority of bird species, the male emu incubates the eggs and then raises the chicks when they hatch. Emu chicks remain under the close care of their father for at least 6 months, but many remain in the family unit for as long as 1.5 years. What have you got there?
It's got some bottle brushes and they're just dripping with nectar, and it actually tastes really sweet. It's really nice. Really good.
We later learned that Indigenous Australians have been dipping the branches of these trees into water and enjoying sugary drinks for thousands of years. Doing, mate? You're right up next to me.
Rhonda, to get out of your way.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Intimidation station.
His belly got so big.
Yeah. Moves like a snake.
Yeah.
Oh, you're so cool. of nowhere, we stumbled across a 200-kilometre long sculpture trail with over 40 large works. The sculptor, Melinda Rogers, resides on a grazing property along the trail and wanted to put smiles on the faces of people who travel through Outback Queensland. We think her eye for detail is incredible. This is the aftermath of a night of 50 millimeters or 2 inches of rain. It's completely pooled underneath our tent. Unfortunately, our campsite is completely inundated with water, and this is what you end up with. Any thoughts, Laura?
It was a nice waterbed feature. Kind of, I moved, Allie could feel the wave. Allie moved, I could feel the wave of water up to me.
Classic situation.
I mean, at least we're in a town with a pub and good grocery store. You know, it could be worse. Place to spend an extra day or two.
But we're going to have some very muddy roads over the next few days.
I think we'll have some peanut butter mud experiences. I think it's going to be some slow going.
I called on a Monday, waiting for a sign, sitting in my barrel. I get lost in the time, waiting for answers so I can just die.
Tell me about your little snake encounter.
We haven't seen any snakes so far, and I've been very clear about, like, I'm pretty freaked out to see Australian snakes. And we were staring at some emus, and I just ran a big old brown snake over.
Third deadliest snake in the world.
Yep, and it was really big.
To help me get it right. Followed up on Tuesday after staying up all night. Got nothing but
We need to talk about your flies.
I have a bit of a fly addiction. I just love them all so much. But I don't want them touching my face, so I have a face net.
You have hundreds and hundreds of flies on you.
It's weird that they like different places on each of us.
trying not to get hurt. Whoa, I need a lifeline. Whoa, to help me get it right. To help me get it right.
In the 1970s, farmers started discovering strange rocks around the town of Wigton, and it turned out they were dinosaur bones. Since then, wonderful museums have been constructed to study Australian dinosaurs, and you can even see one of the world's most impressive concentrations of dinosaur footprints, with over 3,300 fossilised footprints imprinted into a slab of sandstone.
It's nothing.
The 700-kilometre long Plenty Highway is a notoriously rough and dusty road that connects Queensland with the Northern Territory. Like many of the outback roads, it originated as a cattle droving route. There are no supermarkets until you're at the other end, so we stocked up with a week's worth of food. We carried lots of breads, spreads, oats, rice and couscous, along with vegetables and beans. To the state border, it's a long and uninspiring ride across baked landscapes laced with dried out rivers and the occasional small huddle of buildings. Perhaps the most entertaining aspect of these kilometres was theorising how dumped cars got in such bad shape. Meant to rain today. Do you think we're gonna get wet?
I think we're gonna get wet. We've gotten a lot of predictions between 1 mil and 10. I think we're gonna get wet, but the clouds are really nice, so I'll take it.
With a bit of luck, we were able to avoid the storm systems passing over, but still benefited from the rain settling the dust and making the surface temporarily faster to ride on. As soon as you hit the Northern Territory border, you cycle into red dirt country. The rocks and soils through the centre of Australia contain high amounts of iron, which oxidises when it's exposed to air and water. This means that the rocks literally rust, just like an old bike, giving the landscape its iconic colour. Cattle stations in the Australian outback are unfathomably large. Many are the size of small European countries, and the biggest cattle station in Australia is 6 million acres, which makes it bigger than a quarter of all countries. This means it can take hours to drive across some outback stations. For us, that could be 2 days of cycling. We collected water from these supersized stations, which sometimes meant loading up with 30 litres combined. So apparently this is the worst part of the Plenty Highway.
Yeah, they have all these I survived the Plenty Highway stickers. This is not bad. This is so easy. Ah! Okay, maybe it's a little hard.
We loved seeing Indigenous art at the outdoor gallery spread along the highway. In one sense, art is the written language of Indigenous Australian clans, a means by which spiritual beliefs are reinforced, children educated, history recorded, and stories told. While the symbolism in these works can be quite straightforward, symbols are used differently according to context, so it's always best to ask the artist what they are symbolizing. With hundreds of kilometres of corrugated roads now under our belts, we could have kissed the smooth pavement when we saw it. We were also able to buy some groceries and take a shower. Where are you off to?
Someone offered us a room while we were sitting at the grocery store, so we're off to someone's house.
Woo!
I'm so excited. This is our place for the night that someone just randomly at the grocery store came up to us and offered us. He was so nice. He's like a cribs style tour of the place.
Yeah.
We'll come on this way. We have single beds. Which
Excellent.
I'm gonna be really honest. It's gonna be really nice after spending a month together in a tent to sleep in separate rooms.
Awesome.
And over here we have a kitchen, starting the stove tonight. Refrigerator, microwave, kettle, couches, beanbag chair.
What more could you want?
Nothing. This is perfect. This is everything you could want after fighting a headwind, 6 days without a rest day, 600K between supermarkets. I'm so excited for a shower.
We got an insomniac with eyes wide shut, and we got everything we need and then a little too much. I know that you're starving for something you can't touch. Would you be honest with me right now? There's something in the undercurrent, I can feel it coming up. Don't you wanna feel it taking over your senses? Don't you ever fear it? Technologic advances, baby, come escape with me. I'll come see you.
Gotta love corrugations. The bins track dished out the worst corrugations in over 2,000 kilometres. But all was fine because we were immersed in an ocean of yellow grasses on soils that shifted from saffron to ochre and all under a seamless dome of blue. Just being out in the clean air and gazing across the vast plains is enough to soothe the mind.
I can feel it coming up. Don't you wanna feel it taking over your senses? Don't you ever fear it? Technologic advances, baby, come escape with me. I'll come sweep you off of your feet. Don't you wanna feel it? Don't you wanna? Don't you wanna?
Unfortunately, when you carry 10 litres of water in your pannier and you ride really rough roads, things can potentially break. I've never broken one of these clips before, but I also don't carry this much water as often as I have been recently. Okay, so here's the repair. I've got 2 removable zip ties at the front here. Got another one at the back over here, and down the bottom here I also have another one which just takes a bit of the load off the top. So we'll see how this goes. I think that's the first time I've seen a grader
Towing another piece of equipment, towing a
trailer and a car.
towing a car. Beyond a road train. Road trains can't even compete now.
After Alice Springs, we cycled into the West MacDonnell Ranges. This mountain range is the most distinctive in Central Australia, offering stunning views of jagged rock formations, broken ridgelines, deep gorges, and pockets of unique woodlands. We would spend the next few days stopping at waterholes, which were well deserved as the daily temperatures were now hitting 38 degrees Celsius. Where have you taken me?
Simpsons Gap, just a mere 20k outside Alice Springs.
It's incredible. Any thoughts or opinions?
It's incredible. It's so nice. And it's really cold. In the water's really cold, and it's so hot outside.
Ooh. What's on the menu for tonight?
It's our favorite dinner. Japanese curry with couscous, beans, sweet potatoes, and dehydrated peas.
What are you doing here?
Making the curry.
So you just add water to the curry paste?
Yep, and then stir it up a bit. And we've already made the couscous, so we'll just all get thrown in together in the pot in a little bit.
Out of 10.
10 out of 10. It's so good. And it's so fast. my God, it looks so good.
Ormiston Gorge is the grandest in the mountain range. We were surrounded by striking red cliffs and unique plants as we hiked up, over, into and along its length. We've come to the end of the mountain range now, and not many tourists come up this way. Plus there's a 1.5 kilometer rock scramble to get into here, so this might be the best swimming hole yet. The swimming had been incredible right through the West Max, but nobody told us we had saved the best until last. We had heard that you can swim and scramble your way up Red Bank Gorge for hundreds of meters, so we thought we'd give it a shot. Where did this wild weather come from?
I don't know, it was supposed to be like 35 degrees and now we're wearing jackets with a crazy headwind.
Dromedary camels were first introduced in the 1840s to help the British colony with their inland expeditions. Today, there are over 1 million feral camels roaming about. We were excited to see them. The male even blew up his soft palate. The palate, which is often mistaken for the tongue, dangles from one side of the mouth and is used to attract females during the mating season.
God damn, it looks so good.
Just want to show you guys what the perfect campsite in the Australian outback is. So it's actually super windy in the outback most of the time, and there's very few clear spaces. It's often very grassy. So we're in a dry riverbed here, and we normally can't put the vestibules out, but it's enough space for us to squeeze on in and not have any wind overnight. Kings Canyon is one of Central Australia's richest botanical sites, as 3 major biogeographical regions overlap here. It's also a refuge for animals from the surrounding desert. The impressive sandstone walls have been modelled by the elements, showcasing the Red Centre's deepest gorge. We hiked the Canyon Rim Trail along vertigo-inducing cliff edges into the lush Garden of Eden and through weathered rock landscapes that look like the ruins of an ancient lost city. This has to be one of the most spectacular day hikes in Australia. These red rocks are amazing. After our hike at Kings Canyon, it was time to punch it through the red sand dunes and spinifex grasses to our final destination, Uluru.
It's so big. I can't believe it.
First glimpse of Uluru?
Oh my God, I'm so excited. We're still like 40K away riding, and it's still so big.
That's our last road train, and I think the biggest.
It was! There's 4 full-size trailers! I'm so happy! Woo!
The largest rock in the world, Uluru, is perhaps Australia's most recognisable landmark, and is one of the most important Indigenous sites. This ageless desert rock has been in its present form for perhaps 50 million years, towering 348 meters over the surrounding lands. And while you cannot climb it, you can cycle 9 kilometers around its base. I visited Uluru as a child, and this time around it was so much more impressive than I remember, which you can't say about many things. From a distance, Uluru looks smooth and featureless, but get up close and you can see it's weather-beaten, scarred with holes and gashes, ribs, crevices and caves. We were truly mesmerised by the unique shapes, textures and ever-changing colour, and taken aback by its enormity and compelling presence. On the rare occasions that it rains here, such as the day before we arrived, water cascades down the sides, leaving black algal veins on an otherwise uniformly red-coloured surface. Drones are not allowed near Uluru, so we thought we'd take you up into the sky the old-fashioned way, in a helicopter on a sunset flight.
That was the greatest thing I've ever done. That was so cool.
What? The greatest ever?
That was incredible. The adrenaline.
Adrenaline?
I don't know.
The banking?
Banking.
You really got you with the banking.
It was so beautiful. It was so beautiful.
Yeah.
I loved it.
It was even redder up in the sky.
It was incredible. I can't believe that.
Have we got any changes to the bike setup for this trip?
Yeah, we have new tires. So these are
Schwalbe Nobby Nick.
yes, and my previous tires were really loud. These are really quiet, and they're showing almost no wear after 3,000 k.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Any punctures on these ones?
None.
0 punctures.
Tons of thorny stuff. So really happy.
Awesome. Enough grip as well on the dirt roads?
Yep, feeling great on them. I really like them.
Excellent. Any bag setup changes?
Yeah, so I conveniently lost my salsa front bag on my last day of a trip before this.
The pouch that you love.
Yeah, I really love the pouch. I was super insistent on getting this bag because I really wanted a front pouch. Turns out I actually like this setup better. So I have 2 Apidura feed bags and an Apidura top 2 bag from Allie's Mexico bike packing setup, but I really love them, so I'm claiming them as mine now.
Awesome. And there's a quad lock up the front there.
There is. So my Wahoo was 5 years old and finally died. I am now on Team Quad Lock and I love it.
Excellent. So phone just
Boop.
snaps straight
Right
on.
there.
Navigation,
Absolutely love it. It's
map
great.
out, all day, every day.
All day.
Cool. Different water bottle?
Yeah, I lost my 1.5 liter Nalgene. There's a theme here, I just keep losing things. So this is just the only bottle we could find that was about 1.5 liters.
Here to stay?
It's here to stay because I can put like drink tabs in there and it doesn't leave a funky taste in the bottle.
And it looks like you've got some different grips here.
Yeah, I tried out ergonomic grips for the first 3/4 of this trip and I just am still having some hand problems, so I am team silicone grips now for good.
So dampens the vibrations better, no numb hands.
Exactly. The only thing I don't like about them is they're really easy to tear.
And my bike is largely unchanged since North America. My Schwalbe pickup tyres are still going strong after more than 12,000 kilometres, and I've had 0 punctures throughout Australia too.